Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Take Three podcast. My name is Brandon, and as always, I'm joined by my co-host Alex. And in this episode, we're going to start our very first Week One NFL preview. We're going to get into these things. We're going to preview. Mainly, we're going to preview Thursday night, Sunday night, Monday night, and then we're each going to pick a couple games each week on the Sunday slate to kind of look at them. We realize there's a lot of games. Not everybody's going to watch every game on Sunday. So it just makes sense to pick a couple of them out. We're going to kind of give our tidbits, what we think is going to happen. And then those will drop every Thursday morning. And then we'll also, at the end of each week on Tuesdays, we will recap each week what happened, what one of our picks went wrong, kind of just every crazy thing. We know every week in the NFL is going to be crazy. So we're excited to get this thing going after doing the previews all off season. Before we really jump into this thing, how are you feeling going into week one? I know I'm ready for football. I know we're both kind of ready to get this thing going, but how are you feeling?
I'm feeling great. I am so excited for football to be here. Kickoffs tomorrow night. We get the Cowboys Bucs. I cannot wait.
Exactly. I mean, it's finally time. We're done with that dead period of sports. Although preseason is pretty interesting, it's more storyline stuff, and it's really not that interesting. So, I mean, you already started it off, but let's jump right into the first game on the slate that we're going to talk about. Of course, it is the opening game tomorrow night. The defending Super Bowl champion Tom Brady and his Buccaneers at home, welcoming in the Dallas Cowboys. I believe as of right now, the Bucs are favored by 8.5. That line just continues to climb. I think it opened at 7, and it just keeps going up. I mean, I think it's fair when I sit back and look at it. I look at the Cowboys defense. I don't know if they're really going to have any answer for Tom Brady. I just feel like Tom Brady's going to be able to sit back there, kind of have his way, pick them apart, decipher the defense. Yeah, what are you seeing going into the opening game of the 2021 season?
Yeah, Cowboys Bucs I really like from a fantasy perspective because I think you're looking at two teams that score the ball really well. I think the Bucs will definitely bring it to the Cowboys tomorrow night. I don't think the Cowboys defense can stop the Buccaneers, but the Buccaneers defense will be able to stop Dallas enough. But I think it's going to be a high scoring game. Both teams like to pass the ball in neutral situations, so you're going to have not a lot of – I don't think there's going to be a lot of like clock control and running unless you see like a big lead late in the game. So I think it's going to be a good game. I like the over here. Lots of points scored, but I'm assuming the Bucs get like a 2-possession win.
Yeah, I think it's going to be business as usual for Tom Brady and Tampa Bay. I sit back and look at it, and I can't come up with any way that the Cowboys really get the job done. If there's one way that they could really make a push for it, and kind of, you would think the one way is to just run the football, try to keep Tom Brady on the sidelines, protect that defense, and don't let them be out there for too many possessions. But it's like, I mean, somebody mentioned that, and I'm like, we're expecting Mike McCarthy to do that. Like, that's the guy that we trust to come out with this great game plan to neutralize Tom Brady and kind of get his offense going, and kind of, because it's Dak Prescott's first game in, I want to say, a little under a year. Obviously, he went out, I think it was November of last year. Don't quote me. I think it was somewhere around there. Major injury, didn't play any preseason. So he's stepping into a primetime game against, as you mentioned, a legit defense. I think they're only missing one guy in the secondary, but everybody else is going to be there. I mean, Mike McCarthy would be smart. I would come out, run heavy, kind of use Zeke Elliott, right? They paid him a year or two ago for a reason. I would try to run the rock just to play devil's advocate. I would run the rock and just try to keep the ball out of Tom Brady's hands. But I mean, I don't expect McCarthy to do that. I think they'll come out. It's going to be fun. I think, as you said, points scored. I expect points scored. I mean, Dallas is pretty damn good at getting some garbage time stats, but I expect Tom Brady to kind of keep control of the game, and the Bucs never really be in jeopardy of losing.
Yeah, I think the Bucs defense is just going to be able to get the ball back and like not allow Dallas to control the game on the ground. As of right now, Zach Martin's not going to play. They rolled him out, and then they kind of backtracked and said if he gets 2 negative tests, he can play, and Jerry will fly him in that tomorrow morning. So there's a slim chance he plays, but I don't think it's going to affect the outcome or anything. I think the Bucs will get like a 2-possession lead, and then we'll start seeing those garbage time points. And then I think by the end of the night, there's going to be a lot of fantasy points scored, but then the Bucs will cruise to like a 10 to 14 point victory.
Facts. Yeah, I think it's going to take at least a half of football for Dak to really get the feet back under him and get back to game speed. I don't really expect that out of the gates, and I expect, I believe it's Todd Bowles. I think I botched on the preview, but Todd Bowles to really come after him early and often. I would expect since he hasn't seen game action and quite some time. Any kind of wrap up thoughts on the Cowboys and the Bucs before we move on?
Yeah, just to the last point, I agree. Dak Prescott would make like me worry a little bit with Dallas just because he hasn't played real football in so long and they gave him no preseason snaps. So I expect a rusty Dak Prescott at least through the first quarter.
Yeah, I expect they just have too many weapons, and there'll be a point where they'll eventually find the end zone a couple of times, I think. But let's jump straight into the Sunday slate. The first game we're going to really talk about was brought up by you. It was the Seahawks. Russell Wilson, I believe they just got Dwayne Brown's deal done yesterday. They guaranteed him, I think, $12 million over the course of the season. Made him happy. Probably makes Russell Wilson pretty happy. And then we got on the other side of the ball. It's Carson Wentz's home debut. I think he is playing right. They're weird. The Colts have been like COVID list, off the COVID list, foot injury. But as of right now, I think Carson Wentz is set to go. So, I mean, what did you find interesting going into this game that made you kind of choose that out of the Sunday slate?
Honestly, it was the line. So right now it's Seahawks -2.5 on the road, and it opened up with the Colts +2.5 at home, and it's completely reversed. Or the Colts -2.5 at home, excuse me. That's how it opened up, and it's completely moved to Colts +2.5. I just think it's an interesting matchup. I think it's a pretty close game on paper. The Seahawks I like, but they're playing in Indianapolis. I like that Colts defense quite a bit. Yeah, it's been a very rocky start for Carson Wentz's Colts career. He hasn't really played a game yet, but like you said, the surgery, COVID, he's been out. They lost Quentin Nelson. They expect Quentin Nelson and Carson to be there on Sunday. I just think they'll get enough offensive production from Jonathan Taylor and that offensive line in the running game that they'll be able to hold off Seattle and score enough points. I like Indianapolis at home, and then if you're giving me points as well, that's what I really like about it.
Yeah, that's fair. I think I like it as well. I think even Carson Wentz, I think Frank Reich's smart enough where they'll get that running game right. They'll use Jonathan Taylor. They'll use Naheem Hines. I think Marlon Mack's still there, right? They have enough backs to where they can take the pressure off of Carson Wentz and kind of ease him into the game. And it's kind of funny that we bring this up because Mike McCarthy, I don't trust to do that. Frank Reich, who I think is considerably smarter, will do that and kind of use his offensive line and let Carson Wentz make easy throws out of the gate. Obviously, no T.Y. Hilton. They still have Michael Pittman. I really don't. I believe they still have Jack Doyle, Mo Alley Cox out there as well. But I just think they'll use that running game in the O-line to kind of wear down a weak Seattle defense. And then, I mean, I think it's always fun when Russell Wilson's out there and just running around. DK Metcalf's there, and it's interesting to see really what Seattle's offense is going to look like going into 2021, since that's really a big story considering how it was really the downfall of last year. So I think it's a solid pick and it's a solid game to look at. I think it'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah, Seattle's offense, they have a new offensive coordinator. I think they're going to try and be more explosive. Hopefully they get a little pre-snap motion, get creative like we were talking about in the preview. And I expect it to be a good game. Seattle's going to score points, Lockett, Carson, Metcalf, and then Russell Wilson. Like, they'll move the ball well. I just think the Colts defense is very good. They're at home and they'll have just enough to – I would pick, if I'm picking it, like, I like the Colts to win. I like them to take the points, but I think it'll be close. I would take the Colts by like a field goal.
Yeah, I think that's good. I kind of agree when I look at that game just on paper. I kind of take it it's going to be a close, fun game, and I don't know if I really trust Seattle outside of without the 12th man going on the road, as it's kind of shown always. Seattle's sort of a different team when they go on the road compared to at home. But I definitely I like the pick. I like the game choice. We'll just jump straight into the next game on the slate. This is another big one for you, since you're the big the Winston fan club, the leader of the Winston, the Jabbo Wins fan club. It's the Packers and Aaron Rodgers. They rekindle obviously a couple of weeks ago. They head to actually not New Orleans. Prayers out there by New Orleans. Obviously, Hurricane Ida was a big deal, so that game will not be at the Superdome. I believe it's in Jacksonville. Don't quote me. I want to say it is in Jacksonville. It's a different location, but same guys on the field. What made you choose this? Obviously, you're a big Winston guy, but what stands out in the Packers Saints that made you pick this?
Yeah, so it's in Jacksonville, Florida. The Saints got displaced because of the hurricane, which I think does matter. Not getting to play at home, your schedule gets messed up a little bit. I do like Green Bay in this game, for the record. I am the Jameis fan guy. I think Jameis will play well, nothing crazy. I just think this is a really good football game. You got the Packers coming back; they're the cream of the crop of the NFC outside of the Buccaneers. Aaron Rodgers, Devontae Adams, Aaron Jones. You got that defense humming again. They will be very good again. But the Saints, they're bringing back a pretty good defense. They have a good roster still. I think Jameis will quarterback well. And I think it's going to be a close game. I do think it matters that it's in Jacksonville, not New Orleans. I have the line is Green Bay -4, I believe. And I like Green Bay by a touchdown. I think it will be a close game, but then Aaron Rodgers will just score late. And I would pick Green Bay. I'm thinking something like 31-24.
Yeah, I think it was 4 when we locked it in. It's down to 3.5. I mean, it's a half point, no real big deal. But yeah, it's fun. I mean, Jameis Winston's going to come out there, sling the ball. I'm interested to see really what that offense is going to look like. Obviously, no Michael Thomas. They just cut Latavius Murray as well this week because he didn't want to pay cut. So I expect, I mean, it's got to be a heavy Alvin Kamara workload. They still have Traquan Smith, right? Deontay Harris. I forget the other guy, Marquez Callaway, who
Yeah.
kind of broke out in the preseason. So you just know Jameis Winston's going to try to go out there and make plays. I think Sean Payton will allow him to kind of try and do that and see what they can dial up on that side of the ball. But I mean, as you said, it's Aaron Rodgers, and I do think as well it's a big deal not being at the Superdome. Obviously, the Superdome, that crowd's always rocking when they're in there, and it's considerably tougher to play in the Superdome than going down to Jacksonville. But yeah, I'd agree. I think Aaron Rodgers will find a way to make plays late in the game, and I'm just going to go out and say it. I think Jameis Winston will throw a pick or two that'll kind of set the Saints back. But I think, as you said, I mean, I think it'll be fun. Like it's going to be interesting, really, because you're going to have the Buccaneers playing Thursday night, who is really this is the 1A 1B in the NFC, right? So Aaron Rodgers is going to want to come out at 4 o'clock on Sunday and kind of show out and say, yeah, I might have been league to leave, but hey, we're still here and we're going to make a run at winning the NFC and obviously the ultimate goal of winning a Super Bowl. So I think it's going to be super fun.
Yeah, I'm still very high on the Saints and Jameis this season. I do think they'll be a wild card team, but I'm not going to pick them against Green Bay, especially when they're not at home. Aaron Rodgers is just that guy. Green Bay's still the top of the NFC, so close game, but I got Green Bay by a touchdown.
Yeah. Yeah, I could agree. That's a good one. All right, we'll jump straight into the next one on the Sunday slate picked by myself. I went with there's a couple of good ones that I wanted to look at, but then I went with really I think it's the ultimate coin flip game of the Sunday slate, if I could say. It's the Chargers going on the road to Washington to face Ryan Fitzmagic's Washington football team. Obviously, Justin Herbert going into year two, Brandon Staley, rookie head coach. It's just so interesting. I just thought it was a good game to choose just because of that coin flip factor, right? Obviously today, just a little bit ago, Austin Eckler missed practice today. We don't know if he'll actually miss Sunday. If he does miss Sunday, I think that's kind of a big deal for a rookie head coach going into his first game against a guy like Ron Rivera. But then you look at the other side of the ball. I believe Curtis Samuel retweaked his groin, so he's going to be out for I think quite a bit of time. I heard like mid-season. I'm just interested to see what that Washington offense is going to look like with Fitzpatrick compared to if they would have went with Taylor Heineke as the starter. Right, everybody thinks Fitzpatrick and they'll be able to take more shots down the field. We'll see if that's all true. And then obviously I'm interested to see if that defense can still be as productive as they were last year. And really, they sort of carried the team last year. And if they can get after Justin Herbert and cause some trouble early. Yeah, what do you see in the Chargers in Washington?
Yeah, I really like this game. It's like a pick 'em basically. The Curtis Samuel news really sucks for Washington, and the Eckler news I think is a pretty big deal for the Chargers. That's really unfortunate. Curtis Samuel most likely not going to play. Hopefully, Austin Eckler can suit up. Washington, I like at home. I really am only leaning Washington because they're at home. We know what the defense can do. So the question is like, can the offense score enough points? Not having Curtis Samuel does matter to me stretching the field, but I think between Gibson and McLaurin and Logan Thomas, they can move the ball enough. And I just am willing to put the pressure on that defense. That defensive line and the secondary is good enough to mess up Justin Herbert and slow him down, especially without his running back and his security blanket to check down. I like the Washington team a lot in this scenario.
Yeah, and see, I was kind of on the other end of it just because this is the first time we've really seen the Chargers survive a training camp, right? Joey Bosa, to my knowledge, fully healthy. Derwin James, we feel like we haven't seen him play in years. Derwin James is set to play. I just like all those defensive guys to kind of maybe force a turnover out of Ryan Fitzpatrick. And then I love Keenan Allen, super underrated receiver that kind of never really gets any talk just because he's not super flashy, but he gets the job done. I think it'll be close though, right? Like I'm thinking field goal game. Like I think both defenses are going to battle to the end. And I don't know what the Antonio Gibson receiving yards is looking like, but with no Curtis Samuel, I feel like he'll get quite a few targets in the pass game, and he's a pretty elusive back in the pass game.
Yeah, I think this could be one of those games where it comes down to like who makes the least mistakes or who makes a mistake down the stretch when it really matters the most, right? I just think it's gonna be an extremely close game, and like maybe whoever gets the ball last wins. It's a pick 'em for a reason. I'm going with Washington simply because of the defense and the home field advantage.
Yeah, tough coin flip game. All right, now we'll jump into the next game on the Sunday slate, the last of our choices. This also is picked by me. I went with the Dolphins at the Patriots, the battle of the Alabama quarterbacks. I kind of love it. I was going to go Chiefs and the Browns, but I sort of settled on this one just because it has such a great storyline with Tua going head to head against Mac Jones. Obviously, Mac Jones winning the starting quarterback job last week when the Patriots cut Cam Newton. And that's really the reason I picked it, right? I want to see, is Mac Jones the real deal? He's kind of getting thrown into the spotlight right away, right? Against the Dolphins, Brian Flores, very smart defensive head coach, former Patriots coach. And I just love it. I'm wondering if Mac Jones can really attack those DBs. Obviously, I think Xavier Howard's still there and going to play Byron Jones. I like that. I like that Miami defense, and I'm interested to see Aiken Tua in year two, fully off the hip injury. Right, last year he's still coming back from the hip injury. Can he kind of put it together and show that, hey, why are we looking at Deshaun Watson? Why are these Deshaun Watson rumors constantly flowing? I'm still here and I can play football. So I just think it's a great matchup for storylines. The Alabama quarterbacks, and then kind of both guys are looking to prove themselves early in a season.
Yeah, super close matchup, division rivals, two Alabama quarterbacks. I don't really know what to expect on like terms of who's winning this football game. I like the Miami defense quite a bit. I really like their cornerbacks and their pass rush, and then we get to see Mac Jones in a real football game scenario. Outside he played very well in training camp preseason, but week one's a little bit different. They're scheming for you, and they're just going to be ready to go. And I just don't know which way to lean in this game. I took the Dolphins in the points because I just think it's going to be super close. It'll be a field goal game. So I was in favor of the dog and the points, but I don't know really which way to lean. I'm just very interested in seeing if Mac Jones can execute well with the pressure on. And then I think the Tua to Jalen Waddle connection is going to be pretty nice.
Yeah, got to see if that line can kind of keep him upright to allow him to take shots downfield this year. And if he's willing to take shots downfield, I think he's going to have to, or the pressure, the rumors to get Deshaun Watson is just going to ratchet up even more. But yeah, I'm super interested to see if Mac Jones is legit. Bill Belichick pushed all his chips into the middle of the table last week, and I'm kind of interested to see. I went with the Patriots. I think they're 3-point favorites. Obviously, just it's going to be a close division game. I think Bill Belichick's smart. He trusts Mac Jones to make every throw, and we've seen him under the pressure. I mean, last year he was under the pressure at Alabama playing in the national championship in that college football playoff atmosphere, and he just seems built for it. And it's kind of scary that maybe the Patriots, I don't want to say it too soon, have another Tom Brady cooking up. He kind of, everything I see back there in the pocket kind of feels Tom Brady-esque. So yeah, I think it'll be a close one though, and it's going to be quite a bit of fun to see those two go at it.
I will say this. I'm excited to see their offense and the two tight end sets. I want to see how they use their tight ends in the play action.
Exactly. Yeah, that's going to be a big deal because the receiving core is not really that elite. So they're really going to have to build in that the two tight ends, and I'm interested to see if Damian Harris can really take the lead role back. Obviously, they traded Sony Michel, so that's another one where Bill Belichick's trusting that Damian Harris is the guy. He looks pretty explosive, looks good. Another Alabama guy. So it should be fun. Bill Belichick has a lot to prove, I would say, coming into week one, which feels weird to say that about a guy that has so many Super Bowl championships. But when you make a decision that he did to roll with a rookie QB like that, we'll see where it goes. You got something? We can close it.
Now, I was just going to say it's going to be real eerie if Mac Jones is very, very good and Bill Belichick gets gets a long-term quarterback after Brady. So we'll see.
My feelings might be hurt because that defense is pretty good. Obviously missing Stephon Gilmore, but they still have JC Jackson, a couple other guys back there. So now let's jump into Sunday night football. Oh, never mind. I got this mixed up. So we're actually going to cover Monday night. I messed up on the slides. That's my mistake. This is the Monday night game. The Ravens go on the road to Las Vegas. It's going to be the first game in Vegas with a full crowd, which should be, I think it's going to be super dope. Like that stadium's already cool enough. And then you're going to get that place packed with Raiders fans. The Raiders fans, they always show out. They were crazy in Oakland. So I'm expecting the same in Las Vegas. You got Lamar Jackson, obviously. And really the biggest question for me going into that is how's that running attack going to look? We know they're so heavy on the run. J.K. Dobbins went down with a torn ACL just a week ago. And then I believe they brought in Le'Veon Bell. I don't know if he's actually going to be active. They have the Gus Bus. They also just lost Justice Hill to a torn Achilles. So I think they're looking thin at running back. Their receiving core, I believe Miles Boykin was banged up. So they have Duvernay. They're coming out. I think Sammy Watkins is good. They just read up Mark Andrews. So I'm just interested to see how that Ravens offense is going to look. Is it going to be the same? Are they going to get the same explosiveness out of the backfield? Is Lamar going to have to take more chances with his own legs to kind of put him at risk? I'm just interested to really see how they look. And then the Raiders, it's kind of, what are they going to look like? As we did in the preview, they're kind of really a team that could win games. They're a team that could just be flat out terrible. So I'm interested to Derek Carr prove it year kind of, and what he can do.
Yeah, the stadium's going to be rocking. Monday Night Football, primetime game, opening of the season. They're going to be ready to go. The atmosphere is going to be super fun. And then I think it's going to be a close game. I would think it'd be like a higher scoring match just because of like the environment. And the one thing the Raiders can do is put up points. I do like the Ravens in this matchup. They're just a better team. I think they're going to rely on Lamar to just put on like the Superman cape. Like Gus Edwards is going to play well, and but they just need Lamar to be MVP. Like they put a lot on his shoulders, and he's just going to have to show up and do it if they're going to be a very good team. The loss of J.K. Dobbins really hurts, but that's how it goes. He's going to have to be Superman, and he's capable of doing it. I'm sure we'll see it on Monday night. We'll see some flashes of him looking amazing. But I like the Ravens in this game. I think it's going to be pretty close. I really wouldn't be surprised at all if the Raiders come out and steal this one just because of the atmosphere Monday night opening up in Las Vegas. I think there's going to be like high energy in that stadium. But I would lean towards Baltimore just because they have a better roster. But I think it's going to be closer than people expect.
Yeah, I think that offensive line, and then they'll let Lamar do his thing. I think they'll get enough out of Gus Edwards to they kind of suck the life out of stadiums, right? When you just see like this methodical running game where they kind of just pick up 5 yards, 4 yards, another 5 yards, 3 yards, and kind of just wear down the defense. And I just don't know if the Raiders have the defense to kind of stop that type of attack, even if they're missing top level running backs, right? They have Le'Veon Bell. I'm interested if they'll give Latavius Murray a call now that he's a free agent, and kind of maybe try to work him into the backfield. But yeah, I just think I like the Ravens as well. I think it's 4. I would take the Ravens pretty comfortably. I don't trust the Raiders at all. I don't trust their defense, and obviously they can score, but when you're facing a team like the Ravens that'll run the ball, kind of kill the clock and limit the possessions that your offense will get, if your defense can't get that running attack off the field, then they're going to be in for a long day. I expect kind of a big day out of Mark Andrews, to be honest. I think Lamar will target him early and often in the play action game and kind of get him involved as they just read up with him on a 4-year, $56 million deal. So I expect him to get a heavy workload along with the running.
A little bit of a tight end battle on Monday night. Darren Waller, Mark Andrews. We'll see a lot of tight end.
Exactly. And then I also just trust the Ravens defense a little bit more. They got some guys over there. But let's shift gears. Let's shift back to Sunday. That was a complete mess up on my part. We got the Bears at the Rams on Sunday night football. It's kind of disappointing that I got to post Andy Dalton's picture. I was kind of hoping that I'd be posting Justin Fields' picture as the starting quarterback of the Chicago Bears. Matt Nagy chooses the safe route and goes with Andy Dalton. I don't really even know what I have to say about this. I don't think it's really going to be particularly close. I think the line is 7.5. I just think that the Rams are going to be all over Andy Dalton. I don't think Andy Dalton really has it anymore. I think Aaron Donald's going to eat Jalen Ramsey. those guys. And then Matt Stafford in his debut at home in LA, I think he's going to kind of show out and really give that Rams fan base something to cheer about and realize that, hey, maybe he is the missing piece of this team and can lead them to a Super Bowl.
Yeah, the Andy Dalton Bears leaves a lot to be desired. I think the question of this game is really like, how bad do the Rams beat up on the Bears? It's just I don't think the offense will be able to move the ball well at all. David Montgomery, like, you just know where the ball's going, and the Rams defense is just so good that they'll be able to stop it and at the very worst slow it down greatly. Do you think there's a chance that this game gets so far out of hand at like halftime or the third quarter that we see Justin Fields, or no way?
Um, I just don't. I mean, if Matt Nagy doesn't have the balls to start him, I doubt he's just going to thrust him in there in the middle of a beatdown, right? I just don't think he'll just roll with Andy Dalton and kind of let them get smoked. But I agree with you. Like, I don't know where the plays downfield going to come from with Andy Dalton. That's why I wish, as this thing kind of went on, I was like, I wish they just rolled with Justin Fields. They have the defense at least up front. Just let the rookie do his thing. You're watching Bill Belichick do it. Let a rookie do his thing. You're seeing other teams do it. Just take a shot. But Matt Nagy, obviously, he's kind of, his decision making as a head coach, and this QB thing is kind of replicated from his play calling. It's kind of passive play calling and passive decision making. So he went with Andy Dalton. Yeah, I don't think we'll see Justin Fields. Maybe a gadget player too. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if he has like a gadget formation or something to get Justin Fields in the action, but I don't think we'll see heavy Justin Fields snaps.
That's fair. Wouldn't be surprised if the gadget play is one of the better offensive plays of the night for the Bears.
Yeah, exactly. It's going to be a long night on Sunday Night Football. Yeah, I think I was comfortable with the Rams at 7.5. I think it'll be like a 2-touchdown win at least for the Rams, if not 17-point win for the Rams at home. I don't see them. It might be like a lock of the week. I don't see them losing.
Yeah, I would agree. Whatever the line jumps up to, I like the Rams up to like 14 points.
Exactly. He's gone bold. All right. Really in the final segment of these previews, we're going to jump into our picks against the spread. So each week we're going to be picking every game minus the Eagles games for both Eagles fans. So we kind of agreed that it's not fair to choose. It's kind of pick. It's just bias, right? You're not going to get a legit pick out of two fans. It's just not fair to pick your own team's game. So we kind of X'd those out, and we kind of each week we're just going to be keeping track, see how we do. We'll have the records updated each week. We have a third guy, a buddy of mine, John, who's kind of firing in his picks as well to kind of see how well he can do. Yeah, any picks on this list that you kind of can pencil down as a lock of the week? And I also want to, before I start this, these picks were locked in on Tuesday night. So it was the 7th of September. So the lines might have been altered, but we're locking everything down on Tuesday night.
Yeah, I'll tell you the line I like the most and the line that worries me the most. And if you can do the same, I'll tell you right now, the line that worries me the most is the Vikings minus 3.5. I see that you went the other way. You took the Bengals +3. I could very well see the Bengals straight up winning that game, just scoring points on that Vikings defense. So that one really scares me. And then the line that I like a lot outside of the Rams at 7.5, that one feels really good. I'm going back to the Colts at +2.5. I like them at home taking points because I think they have a good chance of winning straight up.
Yeah, facts. Out of the ones that I choose, I think the one that kind of scares me the most when I look at it, it's really a flip-flop between either the Panthers minus 5.5, because like, what if Zach Wilson's legit and kind of puts up points and it's like a 3-point game and they don't and Sam Darnold's really not that good and they don't get it going and it's kind of way closer. And then the other one that I'm kind of on the fence about would be Steelers 6.5, because it's like, I trust their defense, but it's like, what if Josh Allen just somehow goes nuclear and Big Ben doesn't have it, right? They say Big Ben's in the best shape of his life. So that kind of scares me. And then the one that I'm kind of real big on, I'd probably say I was big on Chiefs -6. I think the Chiefs are just going to roll the Browns. I think the Chiefs have something to prove. Obviously, last year, close playoff game, but obviously Patrick Mahomes didn't play due to a concussion. He was knocked out, I think, for the second half. So it was a Chad Henne scramble that kind of stole it. So I think the Chiefs are going to come out with something to prove. And then the other one I like is the Thursday night Bucks -8. We have it. It's up to 8.5 now, but we locked it in at -8. I just think the Bucks 35-10, 35-17. I think it's gonna be a very comfortable W for the Buccaneers over the Cowboys. Any really closing thoughts as we kind of wrap this up, this preview as we get into week 1 and it all starts tomorrow?
I'm just very, very excited. I'm excited to keep track of the spread picks for the year, see which one of us does better, see how terrible our picks are by the end, because it is hard. But I'm just very excited to get this season started, and nothing better. There's no better way to kick off an NFL season than watching the Dallas Cowboys lose. So I'm excited about that.
Yeah, completely agree. I'm excited for another season. It seems like we're going to be sort of back to normal with the crowds, the fans going crazy, and the atmosphere. The atmosphere is kind of going to be back in the stadium, so that's what I'm excited for. And it's always good when the games count. So I mean, I can second that. That anytime you get to open a season and watch the Cowboys lose at the same time, it's kind of it's a good thing. And let's hope that doesn't somehow bite us in the foot. But that's going to wrap it up for today's show. I want to thank everybody for listening. Please like, subscribe, and comment if you have any suggestions, hate mail. I say we did a good job. We always love to read that in the comments. As always, the Spotify link for audio only listeners will be in the description, along with our Twitter at Take3Sports if you want to banter with us on there. We're always down for that. And thank everybody for listening, and we'll see you guys on the next one.